always start the shot with cool colors like yellows, blues, oranges, reds. It really pops. Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here with a 2007 Chevy Uplander. It's mother-in-law's van. The issue we're having today in the very cold winter, it's a rare day. It's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside compared to it's been about -2 for the week. So a little break in the weather, enough to change a thermostat in this car. We've got the 3.9 obviously. And our thermostat, unlike our Grand Prix, which if you watch that video, which is probably one or two before this one, it's right up top here. So we just pull the old bolts out, pop it out, put a new thermostat in, close it up, winning, right? Not with this one. What we have here is the same scenario of we have just to take the two bolts out and to pop this thing out, take the thermostat out, put the new one in and put it together. But now it's on the bottom of the motor and it faces down. So we're gonna just drain the motor of everything, of all the coolant that's in it. And of course it's much harder to reach. Let's see if I can kind of scare my way in here. Nope, light's not quite getting there deep enough for the camera to see. There it is. That little guy there, that stud. Okay, that's one side. And the other side, I'm not even gonna try. It's connected to the lower radiator hose right here. And it's a fitting, it's got the two bolts and the thermostat's in between it and the block. And so we just have to separate it, swap the thermostat out. Of course, like I said, it's gonna drain the whole block. I've seen it where people take off the hose. I'm gonna try not to do that. I'm gonna just move this bar out of the way, which is just a support bar. It's got one nut here, or one bolt down there, two bolts down here. Our computer kind of hangs on that, but we'll just kind of push that aside, give us a little bit more space. Find out what those two sizes of nuts and bolts are, essentially down there on the stud and the bolt, and hopefully just pull it apart. We're gonna drip all over everything, so we'll have to use our trusty pan. The conundrum I'm in is that I only have like 1.5 gallons of this Dexcool coolant again, and a jug of Universal, which I'd rather not use. So I'm gonna try to recover as much as I can, which means this big pan is out because it's got old gas and transmission fluid and old coolant and just, yeah, it's not clean. And I don't want to go through the pain of having to clean it all again. So I'm either gonna put a trash bag in it and then siphon pump it out. That's a great idea. Let's do that. So I'm gonna lay a trash bag in this one. We'll slide it under the car, pop it out, let it all drain into this thing. The plastic bag should keep it separated from all the crap that's in there. And then once all the coolant's out, we'll come in and we'll do the swap, but let's get to that right now. So plastic bag, brakes and bolts. So these first nuts I'm gonna use to kind of give me a little bit more access, or just 1/2 inch. And they are just like a fender bolt almost. And it's hard to do, not that bad with one hand. Everything is so cold, all my tools have frost on them because they're below freezing and the temperature outside is just a little wetter. So there should be, yeah, these should just come out. So 1, 2, and 3, and we'll push this aside. Now it gives more arm space to get our little fingers in there.
So were you trying to figure out how to get this apart?
Shh. Okay, so with the support undone, we can move it a couple inches out of the way, but honestly, that's really all you need. And before I actually break the bolt down there, and I think it's a 10mm, so we're gonna start off with that if we can get in there. That's gonna open, that's not as tight as it should be. Is it tighten or is it just one of those? Yeah, no, yeah, it was loose. Okay, that's fine. That's probably not good. Open it up. Suction noises. Yep, there's our coolant. Right up top where it's supposed to be. I even have it in my tank still, so that's cool. I think for now though, we're gonna stem the tide of water gushing out and go ahead and close this back up again. That way it's gonna have to glug its way out. Then once I'm free and clear, know things are okay, I can go ahead and pop that and it's just gonna go, hopefully, whoosh. And my pan's ready. The trash bag fit right over it. So got a little clamp there, it'll fill up in the bag. I got a little siphon pump right there. That we can use to suck it back out into a jug, put it back in the motor when we're done, because it's brand new. The video for the coolant flush is barely a year old, guys. It's soon. It was a while ago, not that long. So, okay, so we got coolant. I did, ahead of time, when the car came in this morning, was spray some penetrant oil on it. Napa products, screw loose. Speaking of Napa products, here's our thermostat, so you kind of know what we're working with here, since I happen to be standing here. Here it is. Just like the Grand Prix, except it's longer, but ultimately the same. It's got the same rubber gasket, this gasket right here, around the edge, and long story short, we're going to just burp the other one out, and burp the other one in, and put everything back together again. And the sealing surface actually comes and squishes this gasket for its seal, and that's really all it's required. So it's actually not hard, just getting to it's going to be the pain, knock on wood. So right now I have here's the motor, and my arm is down the front of the motor here. They didn't take much to break, so heads up when you put them back to not put them in that tight. 10 millimeter. It's able to get a ratchet on the one towards the driver's side, and then if you just sneak under the hose, you can get the one on the passenger side, and there should be just the two of them. And right now I'm hand taking it out. It's going to be a pain in the butt to get these threaded correctly back in, because it's a weird angle, right? It's easy to get things out. It's going to be tough to get everything aligned to get put back in again, but not much we can do the way we're doing it. I just about have this one out. I'm trying not to drop it. I dropped a deep 10 anyway, and I can't find it now, so here's one. Boy, it's fine threads. That's one. Then we have the other one, which is on the stud, which I don't know if it and the stud's coming out, or if the nut on the stud is coming out, but we're about to find out. Focus on that, you. And yeah, and then we'll just pop it off and dump the go, and then I'll go looking for my socket again while it drains, and once it's done having its little fit, we'll pop out that thermostat. Okay, so the second one's out. So technically that thing's just sitting in there. Okay, so second stud's out. So we had the one bolt on the passenger side, stud on the driver's side. I did take the stud right out. I dropped my 10 millimeter deep 1/4 inch drive down there, and I can't freaking find the socket. It's just disappeared. So I used my little 10 millimeter wrench here and did it the old fashioned way and got her out, just because I couldn't find anything. I got like the little shallows, but I don't have a deep. That's an 11, and it's just too fat to work on that. So anyway, let's come over here. My tray's ready to go. I should be able to grab this hose and give it a good shake and flush the toilet, I guess. So we're just gonna drain all that coolant out of the car. Shouldn't be too long. And if I grab this and bring it up, this hose, if I can I? It's really, that hose has not got a lot of space on it. Now I can feel the thermostat, but I should be able to just grab that hose and set it aside with the end on it, and hopefully we can inspect it and pull that thermostat out. And it says restore the other one to the other direction, but long story short, the air hole on the thermostat's going to want to be on top. That's pretty much what you need to know. If this thing would focus, that'd be great. Here we go. Right in there. Yeah, this side, I'm going to be able to camera it too. But with that popped off. Yeah, the thermostat's attached to that fitting in the hose, so I gotta pop that off before I can get the hose up. I'll figure something out. I'll let you know how it goes. At a time, I guess. All right, so here's the lowdown, and we're in good news land still. If I could set my flashlight to shine down there, that would be fantastic. It says no. All right, so there's crappy lighting here, right? So, but here's the hose, and you can pull it forward. And there's the thermostat right there, you see it. And then there's a little bleed hole, if I'm not too shaky at getting in the light. Right there, that little plastic right there. So, we gotta pry this out with a screwdriver, I guess. Make sure the surface is clean, the one around the thermostat, which is, once again, out of the light. And then make sure the block one's clean, and that's all we really need to do. Once we put the new thermostat in, just make sure it sits that seal, because that seals essentially this gasket too, the thermostat and the gasket. Pop it all in and screw it back down again. That'd be great. So that took a little bit of prying to get this thing out, and so in reading it, I'm trying to read it, it says 44 mil there, and USA, go USA, and on the side it says 2 radiator or 2 rad this way, which is true. This part goes in the block, and this is in the hose essentially. But that's it. There's no temperature. Like, here's my Grand Prix, which is a 3.8 liter. Stubby little guy, popped right in. Same concept with the gasket, so I'm cool with that. Here's the new one. Just, that's such a long piece. I'm guessing because they want block temperature versus water temperature? I'm not sure. But I'm about to take a rag, clean those off, and put this back in. And then we got to cram it back in the hole. And then the really tough job, and this will be tough, is just getting these bolts threaded back in, because you don't want to cross thread. We're probably in aluminum land, I'm guessing. So I got to lubricate them a little bit, get them all nice and pretty, and speak nice to them, and get them so they're started. And once they're started, oh, we're in. You just tighten them down, away you go. But till that point, looks like our catch pan did its job. Leave it there until you're done getting the thermostat out, because that thermostat will actually hold all that stuff in the hose till you pop it out as well. So I'm gonna press it in once I say clean it, and cool. Update. I couldn't find a temperature on the OEM one, but if you look inside the core there are numbers written, and oh, you can see right there, 185F, 85C, and then that other word is hard to read, E2. I'm not sure what that means, but and it's a Moto Rad that's written on the side, where it says radiator this side, motor this side. On the OEM one, it just says the brand, which is Moto Rad. That's rad. So it does have a temperature, so hopefully we'll be warmer. So I have my thread lubricant on these, so hopefully when we get them started by hand, they'll go a little bit in, and then we're good. We'll know they're in, and we can stick a ratchet on them. The thermostat went in fine. If we pretend my hand is the hose and the metal fitting, the hose and then the metal fitting that the thermostat fits into, of course you have to have the big side out. And if I can get my camera to hold let's try this. So to get it to fit in, if you hold your hand like this, and so this is the passenger side and this is the driver side, it's a slight angle. So you want to make sure that little airlock right there out of focus is actually on top. And so it has to actually be this side out. So you got to find that little peg and you put it in there, and you have to be careful because this seal is very exact and almost pops in. You don't want to catch it so that part of it gets stuck or pulled up. It should sit all nice and fine, and it actually sits in there pretty hardcore, so you can move it around a little bit. That being said, you kind of have to maneuver it so it doesn't touch anything to get back up into the block. Otherwise, if you pull it on a hose, you'll lodge it a little bit, and then it won't seat right again. It kind of has to seat perfectly square in, and then it'll go up. So it took me 2 tries to do it. I got it in, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was trying to get it over. It pulled it out a little bit. So you got it near the hole and you're like, it's not sitting right. It's not flush. And bring it back out, try it again. Okay, now it's flush, fits right in. So next is threading in my bolts by hand. Then the ratchet, and for this one, because I can't find my deep one, darn it, I got to do the wrench again. And then we'll do the fender brace and give it a start after we put some liquid in, I guess. That's the hope. Well, we'll see how I do with one arm filling. That was a pain in the butt. Getting them lined up and hand started, and then getting the ratchets in there, and they're leggy. So you can only wiggle it a little bit, so it takes a long time. But they're on there now. They're both snug. They came off snug, so that's how we put them. Getting a torque wrench in there would be almost crazy anyway. So let's just go ahead and see how far my 1.5 gallons of known good stuff will take me. And then if I have to pump that stuff out of the tray, I will. But it should take a little bit here. And then I will run it a bit, and then we got to get it up to pressure. The cap is 18 pounds, 18 psi, which is, that's a lot, honestly. Running my Grand Prix at 7, running my truck at 7. So it's, you know, a lot. But maybe I can do it under 1 gallon. I'm not sure what's there. That's, you know, that's not crazy. Like that could be about 1 gallon, I guess. But anyway. And yeah, if we squeeze various lines and get it running a little bit, let that water pump churn and stuff around, it'll suck it down for sure. Yeah, it's going glug glug down the hole. When I was flushing it the other day, you know, it took a while to eat all the onions, but okay. So it says, sure at that. There's air in the lines though, right? So that's gonna drop. I'm gonna start it with it closed, just because I'm not a crazy man. I can't remember if this spits or not. I don't think it does, but let's just be safe. Let's get that black wrench out of there, because I'm gonna totally forget that. It's hard to see. And let's get this out of here. Put that there for a sec. Get my funnel out. Probably okay without that now. And the light that died, I'll just sit that over there. I can't get that thing to fully charge when it's negative 20 degrees out. Surprise, surprise. Okay. No obvious dripping yet. Not that I could tell because it's so way under. And everything's soaked because I dumped it all. Alright, I'll get it started. You guys come along with that. Then we'll let it run, and if the thermostat opens up, I'm trying to tip my Ford probe. Brr. So I'll show you the gauge we're dealing with here too. It's obviously the temperature gauge, and it used to go up halfway, and now it's only been going about quarter. So that's what we're trying to hopefully fix. The rear wiper runs 3 times every time the car starts now. That's a little quirky, since it's not on. It's not even on delay. Let's rack that up to being an awesome GM car, I guess. Anyway, I should be able to open this now. Oh, it's gone. Oh, kind of not gone. This way, if there's a spot right there, if you miss, you can just totally hit the accessory belt, so that's fun. Oh, like that. Oops, like that. I think the heater blower's on too, full. I guess it's fine. Yeah, it'll smell stinky for a while. I guess the key will be to watch the, whoops, since this person doesn't necessarily like to do much checking. We'll just keep an eye on the recovery tank, and if our recovery tank starts going down, that won't be cool. It's gone again. I think I had to do this when I did the constant cleaning. When I did the cleaning, I had to wait for it to get to temperature so it would get hot water through there. And bypassing the thermostat seemed like a pain in the butt, and yeah, it is. So we'll not worry about that. And I got some on the exhaust manifold too, so that's gonna smell good. All went everywhere down here. More accessories, they just get beaten on. This 07 is a weird cross model. because the 06s definitely had a different setup. They had a radiator cap somewhere, and the 08s definitely had this setup, but this is an 07, so it could go either way, I think, because people have commented on YouTube that their 07 was different, but this is my 07, and it must be a late model year car, I'm guessing, and they had changed the design. It's better or whatever for some reason. I think it's okay, but the radiator never sees the light of day anymore. Check that out. That looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna keep it topped up. I'm gonna return this fender strut to its home, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so I'll take you a quick, no, there's nothing to show you under the hood. It's like it was when I showed you the beginning part of the video. It's just wet because there's coolant everywhere. But our temperature is definitely up, so that's good news. The bad news is, it's not super hot. Like this is actually kind of cool air coming out. Same problem we had before we did the flush. So I don't know what the heck's going on here. I'm gonna have to do some more research into that, because it's, you know, if you're rolling down the road it'd be fine, you get some RPMs, but here at idle it's just cool, and that's not cool, because we're at temperature now. So we'll figure it on some more, but that's how you change a thermostat on a 2007 Chevy Uplander. I want to say Equinox because that's what's in the garage over there, but anyway, we'll take it back to my mother-in-law and figure out this heater core problem. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to separate it off of the heater core and flush it separately, and maybe get her an air, it's not an air filter thing, there's lots of airflow. So anyway guys, here you go. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and subscribe to my channel Turbo231 for more awesome videos on this and other vehicles. And also join my Patreon page, become a member, and you can watch an unedited version of this video, which probably includes about 10 to 20 minutes of additional content. Thanks for watching, see you later.